Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about my rankings of all the Harry Potter movies and the Fantastic Beast films. It's been a while since I last did this, and I think when I did it last, it was definitely around the time of the first Fantastic Beasts. I think I didn't include Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, or the second one, of course, because that one just came out recently. I thought it'd be a cool time to do a list again and tell you guys where I rank these films. There's no right or wrong answer, so if you guys want to, feel free to show your rankings in the comment section below. So let's get right into this. At number 10, I have Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. This was the latest film in the Harry Potter Fantastic Beasts world, or the Wizarding world, as some people would say it. This was my least favorite, hands down. It felt like the longest journey I have ever been on, and I could not wait for the film to end. I didn't hate the movie, but it definitely is my least favorite of this world of Harry Potter. And look, I'm not one of those people that are going to say, oh, I'm not going to watch the next one. I'm done with the Harry Potter Fantastic Beasts franchise. I love the characters in these movies, including Fantastic Beasts. I enjoyed those characters in the first movie. Just the second movie did not do it for me. So moving on to number 9, I have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. There is something about these older Harry Potter films, the first two films, that I will say are a little dated now. They feel like kid movies, and maybe to that extent is why they're going to be low on my list. Yes, because even at number 8, I have Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or the Sorcerer's Stone in some places. In Canada and in some other areas of the world, it was called the Philosopher's Stone. So, or was it called the Sorcerer's Stone over here? I don't remember. But yes, I put the first one over Chamber of Secrets because it is a nice way to be introduced into this world, to understand everything, to know where Harry comes from, to know where most of these characters come from for the most part. There is a lot of shaded and mystery going on, but I think at the end of the day, you do grow attached to these characters by the end of these movies. And it's so great to see the Harry Potter kids, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint, how young they were in this movie, and to see them grow from here on out. It's pretty remarkable to go back to this movie and see them. Oh yeah, they were that young. Holy shit. So that's why this one is at number 8. Moving on to number 7 is the first Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. This was an enjoyable movie, and for a first film, I thought it had a lot of promise. It wasn't the best one that I've seen, but you know what, for getting us out there, reintroducing us to this world, and introducing us to these new characters, I thought the movie did a pretty good job at that. So, number 7 it is. And now we move on to number 6, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I have actually grown to like this one a little bit more, especially when you watch it back to back with part 2. I think it's a much stronger movie. But for the most part, just like the first Fantastic Beasts, it has its slow moments, but it's not bad moments. It's not like Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. This movie is necessary to be slow because those are some of the character moments to make you understand how Harry and his friends are feeling at the time, in these very, very dark times where people are trying to hunt Harry down. So it is a good movie, not my favorite, but it is a nice lead-in into the final film. Moving on to number 5, I have Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. When this movie was coming out, I was really looking forward to it because they kind of built up this Draco Malfoy versus Harry Potter angle for a while now, since the very first film. So when we were getting a movie that was going to focus on Draco Malfoy, I thought, holy cow, this is going to be the battle to end all battles. Obviously, that was for Voldemort more, but I felt like Draco was kind of the yin to Harry's yang. And he kind of was. He kind of was, because Just like how Harry was kind of Dumbledore's chosen one, Draco was kind of Voldemort's chosen one. So I was kind of expecting a big battle, but there was a little twist with Draco, which kind of put a little bit of humanity in him, which I guess was needed for his character, especially the way they were planning on ending the whole franchise. So, in some ways, I enjoy this movie, but in some ways, I was kind of disappointed. But it's still a good, worthy movie, and I think the ending really sets up for great things to come in the last two films. So, with that being said, moving on to number 4, I have Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is one that when I originally saw it, it was my least favorite Harry Potter film. And I heard a lot of people throughout the years love this movie, and I did not get it at first. I thought, oh, it's kind of cringeworthy at times, and I don't know if it fits the style of the first two films, because I really did love those first two films when they originally came out. Obviously, time has gone by. I have rewatched these movies many, many times, and I will say Prisoner of Azkaban has actually grown on me, and I finally understand why people love this movie. It is a really well done film. All the characters are really well rounded. We get new characters that are actually really enjoyable to have on screen. I really do love Gary Oldman as Sirius Black and David Thewlis as Professor Lupin. I think they were really nice additions in this movie. And we're introduced to Voldemort's little rat character, who is disguised as Ron's rat, who I thought turned out to be a little Weasley character. I liked him. I thought he was interesting. Not interesting, but he was fun to have around, especially since Voldemort is like this scary looking character. You got this rat guy. He's not a rat, but you guys know what I'm saying. The character's name is escaping me right now. I just found it funny that this henchman, this bubbly looking guy, would hang out around all these scary guys. So there you go. Number 3, I have Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I love the Goblet of Fire. I don't know what the majority of people think of it, but I think this was really great. The whole game thing, it was kind of like the Hunger Games before the Hunger Games came out, where, yeah, even the characters could die in the game, and hey, the teachers can't do nothing about it. If they die, they die. That's their fault for not being prepared, and that's why they only let a certain age limit into the games. This is also Voldemort's reintroduction, because we did kind of get him in the first two Harry Potter movies, but this is his reintroduction to his new form, I guess, his more snake-looking form, because at one point in time, he did look like a regular guy with his nose still intact. So I thought this was a great movie to reintroduce us to Voldemort in a very scary, creepy way, because that graveyard scene, man, when that happens, this was the movie I realized, okay, Harry Potter is growing up, and I'm going to love this franchise, because this, to me, is when it started really getting good for me. Now I realize Prisoner of Azkaban is actually where it started, but for me at the time, it was Goblet of Fire, so I really love this movie. Moving on to number 2, I have Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This is another one I really, really loved, especially when I first saw it. This was my number 1 favorite movie for the longest time. Not of all time, my favorite Harry Potter movie at the time. Because, yeah, it was a great film. I loved how serious they took it. This is the first one where David Yates started directing, and where I thought, oh, wow, this guy, they got to keep this guy on to keep directing, because I think he did a really good job with this movie. He had the perfect balance of this darkness and balancing the dark stuff with the light comedic stuff. It really felt like a true high school to me, the whole Hogwarts situation. I really did like Dolores Umbridge, I think her name was. I hated this character, but it was a character that you were supposed to hate, and I loved hating her because she was so evil and what she was doing to the students was so evil that you wanted the students to rise up and start, rebelling against her, especially for what she did to some of the teachers, like that skinny teacher played by Emma Thompson, who was almost kicked out of the school, and Dumbledore comes up and says, "You do not have permission to kick anyone off the you can fire people. You do not have permission to tell them to leave the premises. That's up to the headmaster, me." And the way Dumbledore stood up to her, I love that scene. This was definitely a worthy entry to the Harry Potter saga. And finally, number one, I don't know if a lot of people will agree with me on this one, but hear me out. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. That's right, the final film is my favorite film of this franchise, and let me explain why. This movie really does feel like a finale, and in that, it does wrap up everything nicely. I think it gives you the battle you've been waiting for. It gives you these character moments that you really care for, like when Snape, you realize the truth about Snape and all his story throughout all this films, how he actually does care about Harry and how he loved his mother, I thought was tragic. And then how certain characters ends in this movie, like a lot of characters that we come to know and love throughout all these films, some of them don't make it out alive, and I really thought it was great in that sense. Obviously Dumbledore makes a little appearance in the film. I won't tell how, but if you haven't seen these movies, please go and watch them. The Harry Potter films alone, I think, are worth watching. I think you can skip Fantastic Beasts for now until the third movie fixes the problems that were in this last one. But for the most part, look, I think the Harry Potter franchise is a great franchise, and one that I would be okay with people like comparing to the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the Star Wars universe or the Lord of the Rings universe. Any universes like that, big franchise tentpole films, I think Harry Potter is deserving to be up there. Maybe not as great as a lot of them, but definitely worthy of being around them. So with that being said, guys, I want you to, like I said at the beginning of this video, rank your Harry Potter movies. There's 10 of them now. I just realized that while doing this video. So tell me your 10 Harry Potter films. How would you rank them in order from worst to best or best to worst? Either way is fine. And like this video, please subscribe to my channel, guys and girls. Sorry I always say guys, but I'm just used to it. And until next time, take care.